CDC says fully vaccinated people do not need to be wearing masks indoors, and as a result, a lot of people just can't wait to rip them off their faces. But not everybody shares that same sentiment. Joining us this afternoon, Sarah Naslin of the New York Times. First of all, great to have you with us, Sarah. This is interesting. My wife and I were talking about this, and we both came to the same conclusion that we're used to wearing masks now, and at the very least, during flu season, we're going to put them back on no matter what the guidance is from any health agency. We both managed to come through this thing relatively unscathed, and I think a lot of people may have finally gotten the same message. Hey, these things actually work.
Yeah, there's a really interesting combination of factors about why people plan to continue to wear masks. One is exactly what you're saying. I haven't gotten the flu this year.
Mm-hmm.
Many people haven't. In fact, flu deaths are usually numbered in the thousands. This year, they're just in the hundreds in America. Allergy sufferers really feel relief with masks. But another reason people are not taking their masks off is trauma. They've been through a tremendous amount. They don't feel safe.
Yeah.
They feel any risk is too high a risk given what they've been through and what they've seen.
Well, and we're hearing, you know, if you're fully vaccinated, and it does sort of give rise to the question is, how do you know exactly? Because nobody's walking around with their vaccination card, you know, like a hill pass around their neck on a chain saying, you know, here I am, I'm good. Which is a legitimate reason. You know, I'm confident in what my situation is. I'm not so sure about yours.
Sure, but if you're vaccinated and had coronavirus, you're not so susceptible to getting, perhaps you'll get the virus, but not so sick, even if the people around you are unvaccinated. So that's why my story dug into there's something deeper going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a level of fear that doesn't really match with reality. And some people are getting backlash for it. They described wearing goggles to do their shopping and getting stare downs. And the question is, does it matter if the people around you are wearing masks if you feel free not to?
Yeah.
And what level is personal choice and responsibility play in this?
I think over time it's going to be interesting, and here's my nomination for a broad spectrum research project at some medical school to go back in and revisit people in 5 years and in 10 years and say, okay, so how has your life changed as a result of spending these last 14 or so months in a pandemic? And one of the big reasons I feel certain is exactly what you found out there is, well, this was a traumatic situation for a lot of people, even if it didn't affect you directly. We all saw the outward visible signs of what this horrible disease can do, and it's bound to have had a lasting effect on a lot of people.
Yeah. And on a strange but lighter note, I spoke to a number of women who found a mask a source of relief, that you don't have to get all dolled up to go to the grocery store when you're finding a mask. I spoke to introverts who said that, you know, finally they don't feel like eyes are on them. I spoke to people who are sick of being told, you know, smile all the time when they just have a grumpy resting face. Nobody bothers them with a mask on. So there are some lighthearted reasons, but I think you're right. A lot of this was a traumatic experience, and the mask, for better or worse, has symbolized that trauma.
And I wonder, too, if this is something that fades over time, but my suspicion is it's liable not to, because we didn't see necessarily this thing coming to begin with until all of a sudden we were confronted with it. And it's reasonable to worry about, well, what's just around the corner now, too? It worked before. Let me be proactive in case it happens again.
Yeah, some people suggested to me that it might be a cultural shift in a bunch of East Asian countries. It's actually considered polite to wear a mask
Yes.
if you're feeling under the weather, or if you're on a crowded subway. So maybe this is something that we'll see in the future. I had COVID very early on in this. I never want to get it again. And if it was something as simple as a mask, I might put it on back.
No, and I think your experience is echoed millions of times around the country, whether you got diagnosed or not. It was just, it turns out, it was kind of a pain at first. Everybody walked out of, you know, someplace and realize they'd forgotten their mask, so you scurry back in and you get the thing. Over a period of time, we got used to it, and I think that's the biggest hurdle to overcome is, okay, I'm used to doing this, I'll continue doing it.
Mhm. And it's a complicated, complex world with a level of vaccine compliance that isn't where the government says it needs to be to prevent and protect us with herd immunity. And so I think masks are going to be fluid, and I think in a lot of ways they're going to be here to stay.
I think you're absolutely right about that. Sarah Naslin near the New York Times. First of all, thrilled that you got over COVID. Really, very happy for that. And a terrific story about something that I really do think is, there's going to be the time before masks and the time after masks, and we're in that time after masks right now. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
It is about 33 minutes now before the hour. We'll step away for just a bit. We're back for more after this.